my podcast, Breaking the Silence Together. And I want to say thank you if you are joining me over and over and just following me and supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. Today's topic is going to be on something that hits home for a lot, but for a lot of people, they will not that they won't admit to this, but they just continue to hide it. And it's called healing without closure. What to do when you never get that apology, you never get that answer. And for those that don't know me, my name is Jeannie Perez, and I am the founder of You're Not Alone. It's a organization, it's a movement for mental health, illness, and addiction. Everything is surrounded around mental health and addiction. From supporting to providing support, services, tools, resources, anything and everything that you can imagine that someone with a mental illness or an addiction would need, I have it. And if I don't have it, please let me know what it is, and I'm going to try my best to get it. With that being said, if you're listening, whether it's right now to my live or later on or months later, and you feel as though you were ghosted, you were abandoned, you were left without closure. When I say closure, you were left without answers that you were seeking. You were left without that apology that you thought that should have been given to you. You were just left with open wounds that were never dealt with in the way that you wanted them to be dealt with. And I know a lot of times when we are searching for this apology from the individual, who could have been a parent, could have been a loved one, it could have been your significant other, it could have been a friend, whoever it might be. It might have been someone you don't even know, but whoever it is. Sometimes when things happen to us, trauma related, we feel as though we can't go on without closure from either an apology or someone admitting what happened. And because we don't always get that apology, or we don't get that closure the way we want it, the way we want to see it, the way we think that we should receive it, we start like really being hard on ourselves, and that's where we start saying, was it my fault? What did I do? Did I do something wrong to deserve this? Maybe they didn't never care, or or how do I move on without that apology? You just start becoming almost your own enemy, because you start becoming so hard on yourself because these wounds are still open. You're not getting the closure that you want. So you feel as though you feel as though you can't move on, because we were brought up, not just us individuals, but the world is always searching for answers. That's just the way our brains are trained. That's just how we are as individual human beings are trained, that we have to figure out what happened, why and when, why did this happen? It feels as though we're always asking, we always have to, in order for us to go on from one thing to another, we have to continue to question ourselves or question the individual for answers. And that's just norm. That's just the norm, in everyone's being, and everyone's brain function is where you always feel as though you have to know why. And sometimes when we don't get, we have the absence of that closure, is where things start falling apart. And when I say falling apart, I mean our self-being, we stop caring for ourselves, we stop taking care of ourselves, and we start in a regression where it starts affecting our mental state. And that's where we start falling into depression, anxiety. So we start falling into the mental illness situation. Start going down into a black tunnel, which I call and a lot of other people call it, that black tunnel that just pulls us down, gets a hold of us. And then if it's an addiction, sometimes our mind starts suppressing and starts getting overwhelmed. And a lot of people fall into self-medicating or fall into harder addiction to fade away from this trauma that is still open, these wounds that are open, these questions that have never been answered. This individual really, really admitting to what they've done, being accountable for their actions. Sometimes when we can't get those answers and we can't get the closure that we want, that we feel as though we deserve, we start falling apart. Whether it's with a mental illness or an addiction, we start feeding into the addiction deeper just to fade away. We start falling into the mental illness, whether it's depression and anxiety, because our brains just can't take it. And our body just starts breaking down. And that's when I always say we become our worst enemies, because, no, you didn't, you're not in this, you're not going through this trauma and this apology that you're waiting for that's never, and you might never get this apology. That's the thing. We need to train ourselves and realize that we may never get the apology that we're looking for, because certain people, the person that might have brought this trauma onto you, in dealing with their dysfunctional self, the stuff that they've done, whether it's to you, with you, because we're talking about you right now, the actions and the stuff that they've done to you to bring this trauma onto you, they're putting that story together in a whole different way. Like, their pain is not in their story. Your pain is not in their story. So they're writing that story in their mind a whole different way, silencing you out because they know that your pain is real, but they're not going to admit to it. So they're writing a whole different story, but it's not going to be the answers that you're looking for, because they're in guilt. They know what they did was wrong, or that they function. They can't function, and they're not gonna admit to it, because whether it's a man, he's not man enough. If it's a woman, she's not woman enough. Whoever it is that done this to you, whether it's female or male, they looking at the pain that you're going through in life in a whole different way. But you're expecting and you're waiting, and you're carrying this weight on you because you're waiting for closure. But in order, you feel as though that the only way you're going to get closure is this person apologize to you, or just admits what they did was wrong. And just because they're not talking about it, it doesn't make your pain not real. Just because they're silencing because they know what they did is not right, but they're not going to admit to it. It doesn't make what happened to you not real. And that's where I think where a lot of people, many of us, we kind of feel as though that in order for us to go to our next chapter in life, we have to close the chapter that we're dealing with the pain. And that pain that we're dealing with, we have to bring this other certain individual person into the same puzzle in order to be able to go on with life, be able to close that chapter in our life. But that's not, the reality is that we can't give them that power. You can't give that power to them to live your life. This trauma that was brought onto you from someone else, you can't continue to give them that power of live life okay, and then you're struggling in this pain that's just taking you down every day. Take that power back from them. Show up for yourself. You don't need their validation for you to move on. You don't need their validation to say, yeah, what happened to you, I'm sorry. No. Stop giving them the power. You take your power. Show up for yourself. Love yourself and understand that what happened to you was not your fault. And it'll never be in category of being your fault. It's not your fault. Don't give them the power to continue to live your life for you. You know, this person that you're expecting to apologize for you, that has not apologized to you about anything, you're giving them the power. They're living within you. Because you're limiting yourself on a daily basis. Because you're expecting them, you feel as though that your life can't go on unless you get the answer from that person, or an apology, or a reason why they did what they did. Take that power back. Take that power from them. And live your life. You know, you gotta come in tune with yourself. Yes, it's real what happened. And I get it. The pain is there. You know, you're probably saying, yeah, Jeannie, because it didn't happen to you, you don't understand. And I get it. I get it. But what I do want you to understand is that, yes, unfortunately, you'll never get that apology. You'll never get what you're looking for, that answer, that reason of why they did what they did to you. Sometimes our stories don't end the way we always want it to end, with a happy ending from, you know, an answer that we want. It's just life. Sometimes we're not going to get that. You know, every healing and closure doesn't always end with a neat ending. It's just the way life is, you know. We always are trying to make sense of something in order to go on to our next step. Yes, we do need to make sense within ourselves. That we do need to do. I'm not saying don't make sense of what happened to you. I'm not saying get the root of what you're dealing with. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't give that person that you're waiting for an apology from in order to close this chapter out the power to continue to run your life for you. Because every day that you limit yourself because you're stuck in this trauma waiting for the closure, and the closure you're saying you won't get it until you get your answer, that's giving that individual power in your life. Don't do that. Live life on your own terms. Take that power back. And realize that regardless whether that person gives you ever an apology, regardless if that person ever tells you the why, I want you to know, regardless of that, reclaim your life and move on. You can heal without that apology. You can heal without that why. And bring that power that you're giving this person and use it in your own. Show up for yourself. And I know somebody out there might be saying, well, Jeannie, you just acting like it's so easy. When I'm in so much pain, I'm going through so much in life. And I get it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. Because the pain is real. And I know it. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. But you got to pull yourself in and stop giving that other person, that individual, that is never going to ever come to you and tell you, I know what I did was wrong. Or this is the why I thought what I was doing was right at that moment. Why? Because they trying to figure life out themselves, and they're not gonna do better because they know what they did was wrong. Because if they brought so much pain like this into your life, definitely whatever trauma they brought onto you can never ever be changed. Not on their end. That's something they're going to have to deal with for the rest of their life. And I'm not saying that this is something that you can just get over and just throw it away and forget like it ever happened. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is take that power back that you're giving this person, that you're holding on to every day, you're limiting yourself every day from, and just wanting to close this chapter out. Give that power. Use that power within yourself to move on. You don't need, I'm going to say it again, you don't need their validation to heal. You don't need their validation to move on. You don't need their validation to close this yourself. And stop weighing and carrying around that weight. You know, I want you to just really, really pause if you have to and just talk to yourself, you know. And just really say to yourself and be honest with yourself and say, what exactly is it that I want this person to say to me? Like, what What exactly are the words that you want to hear, and why? Write it down somewhere or scream it out, because you're about to close this chapter. Scream it out and write it. And I want you to also put on there, regardless, I want you to write this out or scream it out, regardless whether I get these words from whoever the person is. I'm closing this chapter because I'm no longer carrying this weight around, because I'm no longer letting that person live my life for me. Okay? And then I want you to also sit there and say, I want you to validate this for yourself. Because you don't need no one else to validate anything for you but yourself. And I want you to sit there and validate this. And I want you to say, what happened to me does matter. What happened to me does matter. Without your apology or with your apology, this, what happened to me, does matter. Because you're in silence doesn't mean that what happened to me does not matter. Okay? And the reason why I wanted you to write that too, that you validate that for yourself, because I want you to be able to acknowledge, and just feed it into yourself that you don't need anyone's validation to move on, to heal, to get the help that you need so you can get to the next chapter in your life and close this one out. The person that brought this trauma into your life, don't give them the power. Don't give them that power that they're living okay. They're living life every day like nothing ever happened, but you're just drowning every day more and more. No. Take that power from them and close your chapter. And also, I want you to do almost a ritual on this. I want you to go ahead and take what I just told you to write. Take that paper, rip it up, burn it, do whatever you got to do on that chapter in your journal that you've been writing about this. You might have been writing about this for years, for months, days, whatever it is. Rip them pages up or take that whole journal with that chapter and just throw it away. Get rid of it. Never look at them pages ever again. Don't give any more power to this trauma. Because this trauma and this person that you think that you'll continue to wait around for that apology or that reason why it happened might never come. So what are you going to do? You're going to continue to just keep weighing that around and carrying that weight around? No. You're going to take that power back. You're going to love yourself for who you are. You're going to accept yourself for who you are. And you're going to move on in life. And you're going to heal. And you're going to show that right through you. That validation from that person was never needed. Because you're strong. You're enough. And with just your inner health, your inner power, your inner healing, and your strength, you're going to move on and you're going to be healthy. And this chapter is going to be closed and never reopened. And that person is going to get weaker and weaker by the day when they see you strengthening up and realizing that you moved on and you never needed nothing else again from them. You didn't need no validation from them. That's going to make them weak. Then they're going to be the one crumbled. But that's how you have to do it. And if it takes talking to someone, if it takes talking to someone every day until this chapter is completely closed, you do it. If it takes talking to yourself, giving that validation to yourself every day, you need to do it. But you need to take your life back. You need to be your own inner strength. You need to be your own validator. You need to just say, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not carrying this weight no more. Yes, what happened to me is real and I get it. But I'm no longer waiting for no validation. I'm no longer waiting for an apology. I don't need it. And I don't need to know why you did what you did. Let them keep that for them in silence. Let them deal with that. Let that take them under and you move on. And you get the help that you need to move on. Whether it is reaching out to a family member, talking to them about what happened, or talking to someone to give you that strength back, talking to someone, getting some professional help, whatever it is. Whether this trauma puts you into a mental illness, get the help that you need to heal, but move on. And just close this chapter in your life because you're better than this and you can do it. If this trauma puts you into an addiction, get the help that you need so that you can get back on life and you can get sober again. Because you deserve it. And like I said, many of us will go through life and never really get any answers that we've ever been searching for or waiting for or hoping that we even get. It's just life, you know. Sometimes we always think that the other person or the people that we deal with are always going to do right by us or do right just the way we were taught to do. But that's just not real. That's just not the facts, you know. Some people, sometimes you think you know them, but suddenly something happens, trauma is brought into your life, and they're this monster you never saw before. And they'll always be that monster because in all reality, we thought we knew them, but we never did. So sometimes we think that people are going to do right and really answer our questions or give us the reasons that we were taught to really search for. But we never get them. And we just have to really learn that, you know, life moves on. And we can't just let these individuals live our life for us. We have to move on and become this better person, move on and become the person that we was always meant to be. And yes, some of us do carry weight around because of things that happen to us in our life. And some of us carry things around because of what we've done in life. It's just, unfortunately, that's the kind of world we live in. But we just have to really learn how to deal with these types of situations. You know, whether we have a mental illness because of it or we have an addiction. We just have to realize that we have to really come in tune with ourselves when we're ready to really heal. You know, because like I said, sometimes we're in these situations, but we're not ready really yet to heal from a mental illness. We're not ready to really reach out for that help yet, or we're in addiction and we're not ready really to get sober or clean yet. And these are boundaries that others have to respect. You know, but what I'm saying is that when you are ready to heal from this, because you will heal. As long as you help yourself to get to that healing part, you will heal. Whether it's healing over the trauma emotionally and mentally because you're going through a mental illness because of it, or an addiction, you will heal. Your brain can always reset. You can always reset your brain. Always remember that. But you really have to take the first step. And you have to really, really show up for yourself and love yourself so you can get yourself to that step. Whether it's reaching out for help for a mental illness or reaching out for help for an addiction. We can all reset ourselves. That's for sure. It's just us getting to that point in life where we're ready to just close those chapters and no longer open up that chapter again and saying, okay, I need help. You know, I'm ready to close this chapter in my life. I'm no longer giving this chapter my strength. No longer, you know, giving into this chapter. I'm living my life now. This chapter will no longer be me. I'm living my life. When you're ready and you're at that point, reach out for help. You know, whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with a professional, an organization, whatever it is, even with us, reach out. You know, get the help that you deserve. You know, you deserve this. You deserve to live happy. You deserve to live healthy. You deserve to enjoy every day bright and live it at your terms. You know, I know that it's hard for some people to really just understand things and life in general, like what's going on with them now, what's going on with their life, you know, why things happen in their life, or why they can't cope anymore with different things. And I get it, you're not alone if you're feeling like that, you know. But we just have to realize that sometimes we're not going to always understand and know everything. It's just life. Sometimes we're just not going to understand what's going on with us. Sometimes we have to talk it out to make it make sense for ourselves. Because we don't need anyone else to validate anything for us in our life. But you do have to validate it for yourself. because you need to validate your life so that you can live your life at your own terms and the way you want to live it. So if you're waiting for validations from others, I'm telling you right now, today, you don't need their validation. You need your own validation. You need to validate yourself and really realize, what do I want in life? What's going on? Regardless, I know this happened to me. I know I'm going through this because of this, but now it's time for me to move on. What do I need to do? How can I heal from this? That's what I want you to ask yourself. How can I heal from this? I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to live life for me. I'm not going to let no one else live my life through me. I'm living this. I'm living my life. I'm taking back my life. And find out what the root of it is. What exactly is healing to you? And when you come up with that answer on what healing is for you, I want you to reach out for that help. Again, but whether it's with a family member, a professional, your community, whatever it is, you reach out for that help. Because only you know what healing looks like for you. Only you know what's going to get you to the next chapter. Because this chapter, you're about to shut it up. You're about to just shut this chapter down and never look at it again. So you need to realize and come in tune with yourself, reality with yourself, be honest with yourself. What is healing to me? And what do I need to do to get there? Simple as that. I know it's not that simple for some people, and I get it. But you really, really have to show up for yourself, and you have to really realize what is healing for you. What do you need to do to be able to close this chapter in a healthy manner and move on? And like I said, there's always help out there, and I'm sure there's someone in your circle, someone that you know that will help you with the start of this, will help you on your journey, will walk with you on your journey. Just open up and just really show up for yourself. Get that strength back in you that you need to make that first step. And that is finding the way to get healed again. Finding that help, that push that you need. Just do it. Just do it. And like I said, go on my website. I know sometimes some people are not ready for the help yet. Go on my website and download resources. Tons of resources. And if I don't have it and there's something that you still need to really figure out before you're ready to get help, whether you're ready to get healing for your mental illness or you're ready to get sober, reach out to me. I'll get you whatever information you need. I'll help you on that journey. But you have to show up for yourself first for anyone else to be able to cross those boundaries with you. And with that being said, I just want to say, and I know sometimes, my podcast gets a little raw, a little deep. I'm just true colors. I'm just going to tell you how it is, whether it's with me, or someone else in the community, or just with the topic in general. I'm just going to tell you how I feel, how others have told me this has, they've been dealing with this. It's all raw and real. I'm not making up nothing. I'm not telling you nothing that is not out there, written out there, science, backed up by science or anything like that. It's like I said it before, and I've told people to know me, they know I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm just going to be honest with you. Because to be honest, in order for anyone to live a healthy life, you got to be honest. Not just listen to everybody being honest, but being honest with yourself. We can't be our true person. We can't live healthy in life. We can't really do what we need to do in life unless we're being honest with ourselves. Reality is the facts. And we all need to come in reality with ourselves, whether we're struggling with mental illness or we're struggling with an addiction. We have to just come in reality and realize that we can't do this on our own. We have to get the help. And we have to figure out how to get that help. We got to make that first step. And stay consistent. Once you get the help you need, or you figure out what's your plan, you have to stay consistent. That's the key. But like I said, there's a team out there will help you. Just reach out and really do the first step. With that being said, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has really been supporting us. I can't say this enough because I've been getting so much. It brings a smile to my face because I've just been getting so much feedback. It's just amazing on how many people you really touch. How many hearts, how many souls you really touch. Just with a couple words or just a couple things or maybe just a book that I put together. It's just amazing. Not everybody gives you feedback, but the ones that do give you feedback, it just means so much, and you know who you are out there, and I just want to say thank you. Every word you send my way, I read it. Every text, every email, every DM, I read it, believe me. And I just want to say thank you. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that you're even taking out from your busy time of the day to even just send something my way. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot to me. And again, I just want to say this need is needed so bad. You know, my organization is not enough. No matter how big the team I put together for this, no matter how wide of a span I had this, because I have my tools and my resources and my services, they're available worldwide. I'm worldwide, you know, and I made sure that was possible with my agency and my movement, because I wanted to make sure that no one was left out from getting my services. You know, I'm pushing this as much as I can, but like I said, the need is so much that no matter how big my team is, no matter how much I push this worldwide, it's never going to be enough. You know, these numbers are just rising by the second, and I say this over and over, but I can't say it enough. These numbers are rising. Beautiful souls feel alone. They feel cramped up in a corner. They feel like they live in life in a dark hole and they can't get out of it. And, you know, we're losing them in mental health to, you know, suicide by the second, you know, them taking their lives. Then we have, you know, someone that might be self-medicating themselves or just going through some kind of addiction. And they're just doing it more and more every day because they want to fade away faster and faster, and they aren't realizing they're not doing it purposely. They don't want to die, nothing like that. They're trying to fade away at that moment, but unfortunately sometimes it sneaks up on them and they're not even realizing they're ODing or they're in a coma. And it's just so sad, because if they only know that there's so many of us out there, so many people out there like myself, like my organization, that really, really wants to help. They have no clue. They have no clue. Why? Because our information is not being pushed out fast enough. It's not being pushed out enough. Because a lot of us are really worrying about ourselves. We're worrying about our clouds. We're worrying about getting famous on live. We're worrying about social media, just pushing out nonsense all day on social media or on a live. Or we're worrying about how fast we can get our business going, or how much money we can make off of this. Or, you know, it's not about us. If you're doing all that, you're in the wrong cause. If you're worrying about how fast your business can get popularity, or how much money you can make off of this, please don't be working with mental illness or drug and addiction, because, you know, it's not about us. It's about them. You know, if you're doing this, just give me a call. Let's put this together. Let's make this movement strong. Let's really, really push this out, so our information can get out there faster. Not faster than what, you know, I know I've been doing it. Believe me when I tell you, if you look somewhere and you look it up, you're going to find something that has to do with my organization, because I'm just pushing it. But like I said, it's needed so bad worldwide. Not being able to do it. Not being able to reach everybody. And I know I'm not going to be able to reach everybody. And that's why I'm saying, if your heart is in there and you're supporting the mental illness and you're supporting addiction from the heart, reach out to me. Let's make this movement strong. It's not about us. You know, it's no competition. I'm not competing against you. If you have the same kind of business I do, I want to say thank you. You're an amazing person just like me, because you're trying to do the same thing as me. You're trying to help these beautiful individuals, and I thank you for it. But give me a call or reach out to me. Let's make it stronger. Let's make this movement stronger. Let's get out there together. Let's push this out there together. You know, it's you need more than an army for this. You need more than a team than what I have. And believe me, when I say I have a team, I have a team. You know, I have people all over the place, but it's just never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. So get on board with me with this. Give me a call. Reach out to me. Let's make this happen. Let's be there for that next person that's going to try to take your life from them. Reach out. Let's do this. If you're, if you have the time and you just want to do this with me, volunteer your time. Doesn't matter where in the world you're at, because my services are available worldwide. I don't care where you're sitting at right now. You can be on the highest mountain right now on an island on your own. You're still going to be able to help me, because my services are worldwide. And if you want to help, reach out to me. If you are a licensed therapist, if you're a licensed counselor, if you're anything that has to do with drug and addiction or mental illness, or if you're a licensed social worker, reach out to me, because you can help. Doesn't matter where you're at. You can help. If you just want to be an advocate and just help out in that way, if you just want to volunteer your time, you can help. You can make this movement strong. Any little thing is helpful. Any little thing is helpful. So reach out to me. Let's make this happen. With that being said, I just want to say thank you again to everyone that continues to support me, everyone that's, trying to push this along with me, everyone that's giving me feedback on things, that they would like to hear, or sending me stuff, or just passing my information along to others. I want to say thank you. I can't do it without you. But these individuals, they really need us. And they're in the dark. They don't even know that we exist. They don't believe anyone is out there that cares about them. They don't think anyone cares. I get that question all the time. Jeannie, why do you care so much? So if someone is asking me that don't even get high, don't have a mental illness, what do you think these other beautiful individual souls are doing? They think in the same way. No one's caring about them. No one loves them. That's how they feel. They don't know nothing. They don't have no information on people that really love them and care about them like we do. That's why we got to get out there and get this information out. Push it out. If you don't want to contact me, but you still want to help, push my podcast out to someone you think that needs it. Push my information out, my phone number, my email address, my website, whatever it takes. Just push it out towards them. Send it their way. You don't have to reach out to me if you don't want to, but just send this information out to the individuals that you know that are struggling with a mental illness or an addiction. Help them out. Come on, give them that support they need. They're not asking you for nothing else. They just need a hand to help them out. I want to say thank you. That's going to be the thing. That's going to be my talk for today. It's been a long week, but it's been a beautiful week. Today is Friday, and I'm hoping that everyone's enjoying their day. And really hoping that my podcast really, really resonated with someone, really helped someone out today, claiming their identity back and realizing that you don't need that validation from no one. All you need is validate it for yourself and really show up for yourself and take your life back. Take your strength back from this person that you've been giving this power to all this time and use it for your best. Love yourself. Move on. Close this chapter in your life. Throw it away. Say thank you. Hope to see you again tomorrow at 6. I'm hoping to do my yoga today. I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen my team member yet that does this for me, does my setup for me. But if I am, then you'll see me live at 8 or 8:30. If not, I will definitely show up for you tomorrow. We're here at 6 on the podcast live. If you're not following me, do so you can get all the alerts and all my community stuff. I have an event this Saturday supporting a beautiful LGBTQ community. So again, you're not alone. They're going to be at it again. We're going to be at it again on Saturday. So if you're not following me, so you can get all this information, please follow me, or just go on my website, or just look at my social media that I send stuff out there all the time on different information and things that we're doing. Come on aboard, because our events are beautiful. We do so much out there in the community, and as soon as I can just start getting out further and further, with more volunteers, where I can go ahead and send people maybe over to a whole different part of the country and do events out there. We're willing to do it. We just need more people to volunteer. Because of the people that I have here in this community, but a lot of them do other things besides volunteer time with me. They have families and they have other things. So that's what I'm saying. No matter where you're at in the world, let me know. Let me know that you want to volunteer, because you might be able to start an event for us where you're at. Start some kind of movement where you're at. With our information and getting the people in your community the help that they need with our services. Thank you again, and please take care of yourself until tomorrow, and just really, really help someone if they need this help. And then if it's you, just get the help. Reach out to me if you need me to give you the guidance. If you need my support, reach out to us. we will get you where you need to get to. Love you and have a great day.